it's Aurora and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Hi, I talk about books and writing, and today I'm going to be talking about writing and in particular crutch words and crutch phrases. So if you don't know what they are the words and phrases that are usually descriptors that you will keep going back to when you are writing. Now, particularly I find when you're writing very fast, because you are, obviously trying to get a lot of work out very quick, your brain will just grab onto words and phrases that it likes, that does the job, and you will just keep throwing them in. So yeah, they are basically our shared writer bad habit. I have never met a writer that didn't have them, and any writer who says they don't is a liar. So yeah, I kind of want to talk about this because I have noticed in a lot of books lately, I have seen them on the rise. And it's books that have been published in the past, say like maybe 18 months. Not all of them, but enough of them that it's made me go, well, hang on a minute. Why? Every time. So, and the thing is, before I go into this, I'm not going to tear any particular books apart or any writers apart. I don't like doing that. I don't believe necessarily in doing that. Okay, I know I did kind of tear apart a book in my last review, but I'm going to overlook that. This isn't taking a dig at writers for how they write. So, but I will say this, when it comes to finding crutch words in books, I can give it more of a pass if it is an indie or self-published like Labour of Love, where they have put time, effort and their own money, or there's very little money to go in, but they've done it, they've scrimped and saved and found a way to do it. Whereas, like one of the big publishing houses where they got a lot of funds to throw into a book before they put it out, I don't think there's an excuse, because you could afford to go in and have that fixed. So yeah, I do hold, higher standard to the ones who should be setting a high standard. And unfortunately, I have really seen a rise in trad and smaller publishing. But, it does happen. I'm hoping this isn't some weird trend and I'm just like, way over my head. Anyway, so why are these words and phrases a problem? Well, the thing is, they can make your characters and your world feel kind of flat. So I was reading a series a little while ago and it was, I was noticing the same descriptors a lot, to the point where it made the writing predictable. And predictability can get a little frustrating. Like, am I essentially paying for the same book over and over again? As a romance reader, I kind of am, but not in this sense. I don't want to read the exact same thing every time. The other thing is, if you are using the same descriptors across multiple characters, it makes them feel a lot more one-dimensional, a lot more copy and paste, a lot less well-rounded and dynamic, because they all smile in the same way, they all, move across a room in the same way, they all do things the exact same way. It strikes me as lazy writing, and crutch words aren't lazy writing. They are, as I said, they are just a bad habit. It's something we do, but it's something we should be kind of hammering out, and a good editor should. If you cannot afford a good editor, and I know that pain, you can fix things to a point yourself. I will always advocate for going to a proper editor and spending a bit of money, because you really can't edit your own work that well, because you do miss your own mistakes, because in your head you've auto-corrected and you don't notice. And I've had this myself many times before I've sent work over for someone else to edit. Anyway, that said, here's a couple of tips that just to help you try and grab those crutch words and those crutch phrases to make your writing a bit more well-rounded. So number one, print your work off. You will always read and edit your work better on a page than on a screen. I don't know what this is. There is meant to be some kind of science behind it. I cannot remember what it is. And I'm not going to go and Google it because I'm filming with my phone. So we'll ignore that my laptop is literally right behind me. First off, anyway, print your work. Read it through. Read it through without an editor's head on. Read it as a reader. And if you start to notice those words starting to jump out at you because you've read them a lot, just start highlighting them. In fact, go back and see if they, before you started highlighting, and grab those ones too. And go through and just highlight the lot. And if you're noticing you know, every other page or whatever, you have used the exact same description for something across multiple characters and across whatever. Suddenly it's like, okay, yeah, this is kind of a little too recurring. It's time to go back. And once they're highlighted, when you use your first draft or whatever draft it is to go back and write the next one, you've got it in front of you, they're highlighted. Leave a little like star or something next to the word and go, right, these are the ones I'm changing, just to reduce it down. It's a really quick and simple fix. That said, number 2, ask fellow writers to read your work and point them out, because writers know crutch words. They are on the lookout for them, because you should be on the lookout for them in your own work. So, you know, get a writerly friend to have a read, even if they are skim reading and not going really into it. And then just ask them to spot them out and say, like, is it bad? Like, you know, they will hopefully be honest with you, and your friends should be honest with you about these things. I want my friends to come back to me and go, do you realise that you use the word wandering a lot? I do. It's one of mine. I'm trying to work on this. So yeah, they are more likely to spot them because it's not their work. It's amazing the difference a fresh set of eyes makes, because they will not autocorrect for themselves, because it isn't their work to autocorrect in their head. It makes the world of difference. And number 3, know that once you have discovered your crutch words and phrases, your brain will come up with new ones. It will find another word or phrase that it really likes, cling on to it, and want to use it in everything. I say this as someone who has been told, hey, you've used this phrase a lot, stop. By the way, I know in 3 weeks I'm going to be saying this again about a whole other word or phrase. So yeah, it's just that simple. It's going to be something that you are always going to battle. And unfortunately, those goalposts are going to move, because that is just how your brain works, to mess with you as another way as a writer. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. That is all I've got for you today. Do give me a like if you feel generous and you have made it to the end of this video. Maybe leave a comment down below if you know what your crutch words or phrases are, or any you have noticed in books. I would be really interested to see what comes up. And yeah, do give me a subscribe if you are not subscribed already, because it does help my very, very tiny channel out. And I will see you again in the next video, where I will be back in my Christmas jumpers and reviewing The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. Take care, guys. Bye!